Hello friends, welcome to Salesforce CRM Analytics video session 196. So basically in today's video, we will actually cover a few more things related to the widgets. So maybe we will cover, the repeater widget, input widget, and maybe if time permits, we will also go to the component widget as well as, the container. Container is an easy stuff, not an issue. Okay, so let's try to understand each of them one by one. These are few of the remaining widgets which are remaining in understanding the Salesforce CRM Analytics Dashboard in terms of all the widgets which are present. So let's continue. Now, coming to the browse section, we were doing the scratch dashboard. So let me just utilize that dashboard itself. Now, again, this is not a proper dashboard, as I've been saying. It's just that currently I'm just explaining you all the widgets. Okay, nothing else. We will build some proper dashboard. Okay, as we go on further. And we build some of the dashboard. Fine. These are definitely not at all the best practices to follow. But again, the purpose right now with the scratch dashboard, as the name itself suggests, is just to help you understand the widgets. Okay. And once we understand, we'll actually utilize by building some dashboard as well. Okay. Anyways, coming to this section, repeater. So what this repeater does is, as the name suggests itself, it's basically going to repeat itself. Okay. So what I'm going to do is probably I'm going to make it this big. Okay. And I will click on this repeater, and I am using the recipe account dataset. Let me check. Yeah, recipe account dataset is fine. Okay. And what I'm going to do is probably I will bring the, let's say I bring the industry itself. Okay. Not an issue. Fine. I'm bringing the industry itself, and that is completely fine. And I can just write something like repeater for industry. Okay. So let me just write it as repeater for industry. Good. Making it very simple. I'm just going for count of rows. Fine. Clicking on done. Now, when I click on done, if you see, it basically redirects me to a different view altogether. Okay. Now, it is not a different view. It's basically a part of the repeater itself. Okay. So, as you can see here, there are some of the steps like add content and customize, add the content you want repeated within each data card. It's more like building a data card, and that data card is going to get repeated. For example, you have put a data card for the number of employees in your company. Okay. Let's say there's an organization and you have put data card for the number of employees in the organization. What will happen is in the data card, so it's like contact one, contact two, contact, and that's where it's going to get repeated. Fine. Anyways, we will understand with this, and let me click on next over here. As you can see, add content and customize, adjust the grid layout and style of a repeater widget. We can more customization. Fine. Regarding the customization, maybe we can do it as we go on further, but let's understand the basic stuff right now. Okay. So let's say at first I have this text widget. Fine. Let me have the text widget. That is completely fine. And what I'm going to do is probably here I will go to the query data and I will just click on industry name. Fine. I just want that mapping to get on the industry name. Fine. One of the things which I didn't do is basically I will first remove this add text. I don't need this add text. And I'm going to click on query data, and of course I'm going to add industry. Fine. That's it. I think I could have made it middle alignment. Okay, let me make it middle alignment as well. So that is the thing. Okay. Now it will get repeated. First you will have agriculture, then whatever it's there, like apparel, banking, all those fit is going to get repeated. And what I'm going to do is probably I will add a number widget as well over here. Okay. So it will show me the count of rows for this widget, and alignment. I'm going to make it center. Okay. Not an issue. So I could have hidden the count of rows. Let me just remove this count of rows. I'm not interested in that. Okay. I just want to see the count. Okay. That's the thing. And finally, what I'm going to do is probably I'm going to bring a chart. Okay. Let this be that particular chart itself. Now here you have certain chart types. Like you won't get all the options in the repeater. Okay. So these are more like the GOT chart or the gauge chart, however you pronounce it. Those are the options which are available. So here under repeater, you won't get all the options because all those are not needed. As I told you, it's more like a card. It's going to repeat itself. So definitely a GOT chart helps over there. Let me just go with the standard GOT chart. Okay, that's completely fine. You can always play around with this. I'm not playing around with this right now. I already showed you how to play around with this. And I think I'm fine with this, whatever I've done. Okay. And probably what I'm going to do is, okay, and this settings are all same, whatever I explained, fine. Nothing much is there on the settings part. Maybe maximum what I can do is probably I can just put a bit of widget style maybe, okay. Like maybe the border color, I can put something like black, okay. I can give the width as 2, and maybe I can circulate that. And similarly over here as well, I can circulate everything, and I can give the border color something like purple. Okay, maybe the border width I can give it as 2. And for here also, let's say I give the border color something like uh okay, let's say something on this higher, this kind of dark purple. Maybe I can give it as 4. Okay, and I can give it an all side. Okay, that's cool. Now let me click on done. Okay, now I'm clicking on done. As you see, if I click on preview, right, so when I click on preview, you see there's a separate scroll bar button over here for this repeater. Now it's just repeating itself. So first I didn't map it separately. So we have so many values for industry, right? We have agriculture, apparel, banking, biotechnology, communication. If you see, I didn't map everything separately one by one. It's just that I have gone for the repeater widget. I gave the appropriate dimension, okay, that I want industry, and all the values which are there, that is coming up as a card, and that card is getting repeated itself, something which washed on the text as well. In that steps text which was there over there also, we washed it. Okay, so that's the beauty. If you see, the text I gave at first, then I gave the number widget, and finally I gave the flat God chart widget, flat God chart. So agriculture, then comes the apparel, it's showing up, then it's showing the count of rows, and it's displaying that via God chart. And finally we have, I mean, finally banking, and up till it goes up till the last value, which is utilities. Okay, that's how this is the thing goes. And of course we can do further more things on this, but as of now this is a basic concept. And remember, basically on that particular repeater widget, you have all these 4 options. You have the text, you have the number widget, on the chart widget is there, but some specific chart are there, mainly the God chart, and that itself makes sense to get repeated. And finally you have the image as well. Okay, so that's the thing about this one. Okay, so this is all about the repeater widget. Okay, now let's move further. After this, what we have something called as the input widget. So what I'm going to do is, I will take this input, I will drag this particular input node. Okay, and as you can see, it's more like a scroll bar. Fine, it's more like a scroll bar. I don't know, you can just give it as, I don't know, I mean scrolling pad maybe. Okay, you can give it as scrolling pad. And it's nothing but, if you see the previous sections, you can just yeah, you can just play around with this one. Okay, so as you can see, we can just play around, and here the number will get changed. Okay, as you can see, when I play around, this number is getting changed. It's more like a scroll bar. Okay, so that's the input widget. Now what is the application of this? Now here, to understand the application, there are various applications. One of them, what I can show you is how, depending on that scroll bar which you are putting, how you can calculate certain numbers or formulas. Okay, I will give you a very simple example. Maybe we can walk through this in details as we go further, but I will give you a very simple way how we can utilize this input widget. For that, now input widget is actually this one, but the app, for the application of it, we need to understand how that can impact the other widgets, because just scrolling of it won't make sense, right? So here, let's say I go for something like table table uh, table utilizing, let me say utilizing input widget. Okay, let me give a name something like that. Okay, now I am going for count of, I will straight away go to my compare table. Okay, that's fine. And finally I will group it by let's say, I mean, let me take industry itself. That is completely fine. And after this, what I'm going to do is, so you have agriculture and you have the count of rows, okay, for each of them. Fine. And let me do one thing here. Basically, I'm going to add a new formula. Okay. So as you can see, some messages coming up. Add user inputs to your query. Input is controlled by the input widget on your dashboard. Changes made to your input widget also updates the input column value. Multiple inputs can be used in a query, and they can be referenced in formulas, bindings, and other widgets. So you can reference that input in formulas. You can reference that input in bindings. When we understand the bindings, we will, of course, understand it much more clearly, and you can utilize in other widgets. For now, we will understand in terms of formula how this can be utilized. Okay. As we go further, as we understand about the bindings part, I will help you to understand how we can utilize the input widget in bindings. But now, let's say, you can click on more info to learn this, but as of now, I'm skipping it in myself. So you can see 2 formulas. Either you can give a simple formula, which we already understood, right? So before the compare table functionalities, we already understood how we can give a simple formula like a plus b, a minus b, a into b. Okay. But right now we'll go for an input node, and I just click over here input. Okay. So I click over here input, and I just click on add. Okay. So as you can see, currently that input value is over here. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is further, basically, let's say, depending on this particular value, I'm going to take the percentage of it and calculate the count of rows. Okay. So it will be more like, whatever you select on the input, like if you select, let's say 2%, so it will be like uh, this input particular node divided by count of rows into 100. Okay. So what is the percentage of that count? Okay. So what I'm going to do is here, I will now go to formula. Okay. And probably I'm just going to write, okay, for this input underscore one, let me write it as, I mean, that's fine. Let me click like it as input itself. Let me click on apply. Okay. And further, what I'm going to do is here, I will build up the formula. So I'm going to write something like B by A, okay, into 100. So it is like whatever is the percentage of input divided by the count of rows, and what is the count of rows in terms of percentage. Okay. So I don't know how to put this. It's like, I don't know, input by count of rows maybe. Okay. So maybe I can just write input by count of rows. Again, just a basic formula. Okay. I think here the spaces are allowed. Okay. That's it. I'm clicking on apply. Okay. So as you can see, it's showing me this format. And what I will do is I will go for percentage. Okay. 1 by 43 into 100. Let me very quickly calculate that 1 by 43 into 100. So you have this 1 by 43. So the percentage is actually 23, right? The percentage is 23. So maybe what I can do is instead of multiplying by 100, if I'm going for percentage itself, I can just write B by A. Okay, that's it. So right now it's fine. Okay, so it is like, if you multiply by 100, it's like 2.3. So I think when you go for percentage, you don't have to specifically write into 100. That will automatically do that part of into 100. Okay, so I think this is completely fine. And input by count of rows, that is also fine for me. And I'm clicking on done. Okay, now see the beauty over here. So right now, if I click on preview, right? So once I click on preview, now just observe, currently the value is showing as 1. Now, if I just scroll it, right? So for example, if I just scroll it, let's say up to let's say up to 50%, just to make the calculation simpler. So as you can see on the input, I have the value of 50 because that's the input which I have put in. And if you see the input by count of rows, that is nothing but, so what is, 50 by 43 into 100. Okay. So you get to understand 50 part of this 43 is giving you 116.28%. Okay. If you calculate 50 by 69, I can very quickly do it for the second one. So it's like 50 by 69. Okay, it's giving you 72.4, which is matching. Okay, just a random formula I gave. You can use it in many other ways, but that is just to understand about this one. Okay, and here also through this pencil button also you can actually kind of change it. So for example, let's say I wanted 75. Okay, and click on update. So that way also you can do it. You have this option of doing with pencil button. Fine. Now, of course, there are various options as well. So for example, you can just go through this particular sections, like under input values, you can make it as freeform input. I'm sorry. So the freeform input looks something like this, like where simply you just put the number and basically other things are being taken care. Okay. So you can put it something like, I don't know, 90 itself. Okay. And you can see it's changing. So here, instead of scroll bar, you are having the directly you can put in the numbers. Fine. And that is all about this. And now one thing which I was not doing till now is whenever you are always after the work, you save the dashboard. Okay. So here I can write like something like repeater and input widget. Okay. So I can just write something like that and I can save it. Okay. So yeah, anyways, for this video, we learned about the repeater input widget, and whatever rest portion is left, the component and the container, we will learn in the next video. Fine. So yeah, that's about this, and let's meet in the next video. Thank you.